Hi everyone! The aim of this lecture is to describe an effective way to transform a retail store into the most innovative version of itself. We call it digital retail transformation, and during this lecture we will analyze the way we use this methodology in Stentol to help retail firms to choose the right digital solution to keep up with times. Nowadays, retail companies always need to keep up with innovation, creating store experiences that are able to satisfy customer evolving expectations. Customers are seeking to find in store the same level of service they find in digital channels, so they can move seamlessly between physical and digital experiences. But before making decisions, it is necessary to understand in which direction to go to move a retail firm toward the retail of the future. In Stentol, we approach digital transformation using a lean retail methodology that is an iterative methodology created to help retailers to design, develop and roll out an innovative version of the store in a short time. The added value of a lean methodology is to deliver quickly. When we deliver quickly, based on what we know about the customer, we are able to get feedback quickly. And whether what we deliver is a failure or a success, we gain valuable insight. This helps in achieving business agility. What we deliver is a minimum viable store, MVS for short. That is a real and working version of a new store format, which allows a brand to collect the maximum amount of validated learning about customers with the least effort. The term clearly refers to MVP, that is, minimum viable product. In this case, the final product is an entire store format. The use of this methodology ensures several benefits for the company. It allows to test real innovation with low risks. It gets to know the customers as soon as possible. It provides effective measure of the results. It shortens the go-to-market of new customer experiences. Innovation, speed and scalability are the three pillars upon which we build the new store value proposition. The new store will move forward exploring innovative methods and technologies. It will be ready in the shortest time possible and will collect as much information as needed to plan future decisions and eventually scale. The entire lean process can be divided in 5 steps that help to validate a concept, build a prototype, and get data and insight to scale up. The process can be represented as an MVS loop, and it is an iterative, hypothesis and experiment-driven approach to validate learning, where we continuously innovate to create game-changing digital products and services. Information are gathered from the outside in the first definition phase, where design thinking is applied for understanding customers' and stakeholders' challenges. Then, the MVS loop allows to rapidly build a minimum viable strategy roadmap to test with your customers, gather feedback, learn and decide whether to pivot or not. Inside the loop, continuous adjustments can be done in order to bring out a validated version of the store to be rolled out with lower risk. The first step of the process is the define phase. In this phase, companies have to answer the following questions. Who is my customer? What are the solutions to the pain points identified? How might we launch a pilot? What are the indicators of success? This phase takes place through a co-design workshop where company stakeholders work together with the design team to assess the problem, frame the solution, and to define strategy, priorities, and a backlog list to be done. The co-design phase can be followed by a field research, where the design team explores the existing store reality and interacts with existing customers and employees. Definition phase outputs are customer and employee personas, high-level customer experience map, MOS goal and scope, and MOS backlog. The second step of the process is the build phase. In this phase, companies have to answer the following questions. What is the structure of the customer experience to be tested? What is the technology to implement? What are the indicators of success? This phase is where the experience is designed through service design, user experience or UX, and user interface or UI activities. Metrics are defined through the identification of most relevant KPIs. Software and hardware are set up by the development team. Then we define which are the touch points to develop. They can be mobile or desktop apps or websites. Touch points can also include additional technologies that help to shape the right experience, and they can be provided by external partners. Finally, there is the staff training, both associates and managers, making sure that the technology is used in the right way and with the right purpose. The third step is the test phase, where the company understands how to quickly test the MVS and collects relevant data and feedback. In the test phase, the company launches a first version of the MVS to its core consumer. Tests and trials are made based on MVS performance and customer feedback. The first step is the learn phase, where first results are collected and analyzed. Companies in this phase need to answer several questions to understand if their initial assumption and hypotheses are validated. What are the emerging patterns in the data? Which solution scores the highest on the indicators of success? What are the most promising business opportunities? What features and services should we include in the rollout phase? In this phase, we help firms to choose the right way to measure associates and manager performances. Our customer satisfaction manager is able to collect information for backlog iteration and understand how to adapt and retouch the MVS. The outcomes of this phase are VP and solution validation, data and insights on in-store customer experience, data on in-store experience conversion, validated backlog for the rollout. The last phase is the scale, where companies need to figure out how this solution can become a viable business. In the scale phase, the rollout in other stores is planned according to a strategic roadmap. In Stantec, we support companies to execute all these steps, either with a consultancy approach and a technological one. But let's see together two real case studies where a lean retail methodology has been applied. The first case is a project for Luisa Spagnoli, an Italian woman clothing and accessories firm. Going through the definition, building, testing and learning phases, we have been able to launch Luisa Spagnoli Tablet App and the Endless Aisle as a first step for the omnichannel strategy of the women's wear brand. Similarly, we had supported Balli, a Swiss luxury fashion house, in enhancing their Hong Kong airport store experience. Going through a definition, building and testing phase, we've been able to install in their stores interactive smart mirrors and associate clienteling app. Here, a visual example of the interactive experience layout. In conclusion, during this lecture, we have seen one possible way to approach retail innovation. Nowadays, retailers must evolve and find a new role in the current commerce ecosystem. The final recipe depends on many factors, most of them unknown at the beginning of the transformation. A lean approach helps companies to find the right path of evolution, reducing risk and reaching goals faster.